Department.
Get the hair out of my face. Here you go. Is that better?
Does that seem abusive to you? It was like this female deputy was her personal assistant.
She likes to be argumentative. She's very difficult to deal with.
You literally just broke my wrist.
I would say that her injuries are self-inflicted, as you can see by her behavior.
They threw me in the jail cell.
Isn't it true they were responding to your request to be kept alone and not put in a general population with a bunch of other prisoners?
Well, what does that mean? Ever since I got thrown in jail, I have not been the same.
You got thrown into the jail because you're a drunk. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. Let's count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Yesterday, I sat down with Keith and his wife of 28 years, JoLynn. Now, Keith said JoLynn is such an extreme alcoholic that she drinks all day long, stopping to do little else besides use the bathroom and eat small amounts of food. A few months ago, when JoLynn needed medical attention, Keith decided to call the paramedics. But things took a drastic turn for the worse. According to news articles, JoLynn became hostile with police, who also arrived on the scene, and she was arrested for public intoxication. Now, after JoLynn returned home, she had severe bruising on her face and eyes. Keith accused the Alameda Police Department of wrongdoing because of JoLynn's bruises, an accusation the police department vehemently denies. JoLynn's arrest, her behavior, and accusations against the police became an international news story. Here's what Keith and JoLynn had to say yesterday.
My wife, JoLynn, is an alcoholic.
These are the beers I usually drink. They're 24 ounces, and I usually drink about 6 a day.
Last time I was arrested, it became local news, and the story even went international.
A grandmother from Fremont received these injuries after authorities took her to jail for being drunk in public.
JoLynn asked her husband to call 911 so paramedics could help her detox and take her to an inpatient rehab. But what started as a call for help quickly got ugly.
She wound up in jail. Where she stumbled and slammed her face against the back wall of the jail cell.
Keith, you got your hands full.
You think?
Why did you call 911 that particular day?
Well, I'm not exactly sure which day you're referring to because there's been many times.
Well, I'm talking about the one where she wound up with 2 big black eyes.
Okay. My thought was get her into an ambulance and detox her.
Why not just take her yourself?
There have been times when I've been trying to transport her, and as I'm driving, she'll start to open the door.
All I want to do is drink more. I hate that this is happening to me.
Can you tell me about this incident that went on the news?
I was afraid to go into the cell. I don't want to go to the cell. Then they just tossed me in.
Take off my handcuffs.
That's what we're doing right now.
Now I hit my head, and I haven't been the same since.
Will you take a breathalyzer for me now so I know what level you're at, so
Yes.
I know who I'm talking to? Blow real hard. It says that you are 0.35.
Which is bad.
That's 4 times the legal limit.
Will you please help me?
If you really want help, I'm here to help you.
I'm scared to death.
Now, listen to me. JoLynn,
Come on,
if
please.
you leave, you're not coming back and we're done. So if you want help, you need to sit in that chair and you need to stay there. You're sober enough to hear me, right?
Yes.
You called 911. Your hope was to get an ambulance
Correct.
that would take her to a hospital. And the police responded, and you think that they were perhaps abusive with her.
Well, I
don't
know they
I
were.
didn't know exactly what happened.
You what?
I know they were.
They all wear body cams. They provided us with a lengthy video.
Please put the hair on my face. Here you go. Is that better?
We're going to take the handcuffs off in a second, okay?
There's still hair in my face. Better? No, it's in my eye. Is that better? Yes, thank you.
For the meantime, we need a place to have you sit. What has a bathroom or something like that.
Does that seem abusive to you?
I'm not sure I can directly answer that.
Sure you can. She's ordering the police around. Get the hair out of my face. It was like this female deputy was her personal assistant.
Get back up there. You're wasting an opportunity. Can you sit down for a few more minutes?
I have to pee.
Let me be real clear. If you don't want to be here, it's absolutely okay with me.
No, I don't want to leave.
You're going to blow this.
Do you need to use the restroom?
I would like to pee.
If you need to take a bathroom break, I'll give you a bathroom break. And you either come back or you don't.
Step on up. Here you go. Near the head.
Here, step up here, honey. Step up.
I'm trying.
Okay.
What's that?
Take your mask. Take the mask. I'll put it back in the bag. Can you give me the mask? There you go. Okay, I'll take that.
Well, I'd like to now introduce Sergeant Ray Kelly. He's spokesperson for the Alameda Police Department. He says he has reviewed all of the body cam footage and interviewed the officers and denies that the police department were involved in any wrongdoing. Sergeant Kelly, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us on the show, Dr. Phil, and letting us set the record straight here about some of the allegations that have been made.
All right. First, let me also thank you and everyone on the department for your service. I appreciate so much you guys standing in the gap and putting yourselves in harm's way every day for all the rest of us. So thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
I've looked at the tape. Thank you so much for sharing what you did. And I frankly was so very impressed with the patience and compassion that your officers showed with JoLynn. I understand that there was an accident where she started to get animated and hit her head, but I didn't see any action on the part of the officers that caused that. I saw them trying to keep her safe and restrain herself, but I don't see where any action on any part of any police officer created any damage or injury to her whatsoever. I assume you've looked at the tapes. What is your opinion about this situation?
Yeah, a lot of JoLynn's behavior caused a lot of the problems. I would say that her injuries are self-inflicted in regards to, as you can see by her behavior, she doesn't listen to directions well. She likes to walk off. She likes to be argumentative. You guys are getting a much more calmer version of her than we usually deal with. We have a tremendous history with JoLynn in Alameda County between our local police department and our sheriff's department. And so every time we get called to her house or she arrives in our jail, this is a kind of a routine procedure in dealing with her. So she's very difficult to deal with. What was hurtful was the allegations that she made against our department and the police department, saying that we had brutalized her, which was not the case. We took great care, as you can see in the video, to be compassionate and caring and to make sure that her needs were being met. She was only going to be in our jail for several hours until we could get her to a level of sobriety to get her out of our jail. So we explained all that to her. She's been in and out of the jail system and the hospital system many times, so she's aware of that. And you know, we went through tremendous steps to de-escalate her behavior, but she can be very difficult to deal with.
I didn't want to go into the small jail cell.
I've never met anybody that said, sure, put me in.
Who is that guy?
To tomorrow. She lives with her parents and
She is 68 years old.
her family claims she's a thief
My sister stole my mom's jewelry and pawned it.
and even swiped her mom's purse.
False. Show me the video.
This was at 4 a.m. going into your parents' bedroom in the middle of the night.
America's oldest moocher?
I was going to the bathroom in the hallway.
With your mother's purse.
That's tomorrow. Then on Monday.
You got physical with it.
I do defend myself. I didn't hit her. I didn't beat on her.
You guys were in an argument, but you held her down. That's not abusive? Why did they take you to jail?
That's what we're doing right now.
No, they're still on.
See that?
I'm not going to beat them back there.
Just hold on.
Oh my God.
Stop.
Holy
That day when I had to go to jail, you know, they threw me in the jail. They threw me in the jail cell.
Well, were you failing to comply with their verbal instructions?
No, I was afraid. I didn't want to be put into the small cell jail. And I pleaded with them, you know, to not lock me in the jail cell.
Well, the time to make that choice is before you come into conflict with authorities. The time to decide you don't want to be in the cell is when you have a choice of whether to come into conflict with authorities earlier.
Okay.
Nobody wants to go into a jail cell. I mean, I've never met anybody that said, sure, put me in.
But I was very fearful. I didn't want to go into the small jail cell. And there was 5 deputies, and I pleaded with them to please don't shut me in the cell.
But isn't it true that they were responding to your request to be kept apart and alone and not put in a general population with a bunch of other prisoners?
Well, what does that mean?
Well, you had requested to not be put in the drunk tank. They were accommodating your request.
Okay.
And you see my point?
I'm not sure if I do see your point.
I mean, who is that guy?
He's a public information officer, I'm sure, for the Alameda Police Department. I don't believe he was there that day. He's just reviewed the videos, as have I. And I felt like we should have both sides of this.
And we would love nothing more, JoLynn, than for you to get the help that you need, and we would support you 100% in getting healthy again. And that's another reason why we're here, is to make sure that you get the help that you need and deserve so that you can move on with your life and take care of your family.
Are you an officer or deputy?
I'm Sergeant Kelly with the Alameda County Sheriff's Office. I've been here 25 years, and I'm very familiar with your story and what has gone on.
I'm trying to assess whether we have addict behavior here or whether we have accountability here. I've reviewed the tapes, and it's clear to me that nobody likes to go to jail. Of course, sure. Nobody likes to go to jail. And I can assure you these people don't like putting her in jail. It absorbs valuable resources. There were 5 deputies there, and in my opinion, having been trained as a forensic psychologist and worked in the court system and with law enforcement for over 45 years, those deputies were there for her safety. So to contain her, just as you've seen here, I've had 5 people come racing out here to contain her so she doesn't fall off that edge right there, and she doesn't wander off into the wrong zone here.
Right.
There were deputies there for her safety, both to record the situation, to meet her needs. They were fixing her hair.
They took photos.
She's saying, get these cuffs off of me. Yes, ma'am, we're getting them off. No, you're not. Well, yes, we are. It's difficult to get them off. It's very close down here. They're being very, very nice and very, I've never seen police officers so they're fixing her hair, for God's sakes. She's treating them like her personal assistants, and they're being as patient and compassionate as I think they can possibly be. But there does come a time where it's time to stop talking and start complying with what the authorities are telling you. And when she starts to buck and resist that, she hits her head. And I'm very sorry that happened. And I also saw flashes of her behavior where she was very polite and very nice. Your personality comes through at times, even when you're intoxicated.
Yes.
We get to see who you really are at times, and you're obviously a very nice person. And I think they recognize that as well. And the fact that Sergeant Kelly, who's been criticized, their department's been criticized publicly and held up to ridicule in the media, is still saying, we wish you the best. We want you to get well. We're here in support of that. Again, is just evidence that they are there to protect and serve, that they are there to help. And he didn't have to be here today. He didn't have to provide that video. They are being totally transparent. They're trying to help, and they want the best for your wife.
I'm not sure.
Have hard water? Integrity Water, your local Connecticut dealer.
Get weather for the day ahead with a Storm Center 7 forecast right when you wake up.
These people, in my professional opinion, have done absolutely nothing but try and protect and help contain your wife when you couldn't contain her and called for help from the system. And the system stepped up and tried to help. And you know she's difficult to manage. Like you said, you take her yourself, but she tries to get out of the car.
Right.
And what happens when she tries to get out of the car? She could get the door slammed on her if you pulled it shut to keep her in, or she could fall out and get hurt. That's exactly the same thing with them. She tries to go out the door, it gets closed on her. Things can happen. Right. These people have done an excellent and compassionate job, in my opinion.
I'm not sure that I'm going to completely agree with you, Dr. Phil, and I'm sorry to say that. My take on this was my wife was returned to me severely damaged.
And
from what I understand, she was resisting going into the jail cell.
Right.
We know that she was resisting. She can be that way.
Look.
But they did a move, supposedly taking some kind of a wrist move to get control of her to comply. And when they did that, she lost her balance, fell into the jail cell, and hit her head against the back brick wall. And my honest-to-God feeling is nobody should wind up looking how she looks, no matter how they were trying to handle her.
It's very unfortunate, and when you're drunk and unstable and unruly and resistant, it is not unusual for people that intoxicated to hurt themselves. And I see it all the time. You've seen it before with her. And in this case, she hit her head against the wall. Had she complied and walked in there and sat down, this would not have happened.
Well, if she wasn't drunk, she would have complied.
But she
in an
was,
altered
and what
state.
could have
She wasn't
happened
thinking
did.
clearly, yeah.
And
It's not the point
the restraint
that I
methods that they
it's
used
not
were
the point
minimal.
That I was drunk. It was.
They were
the
minimal,
point.
and they are approved procedures, and they are minimal. They were very minimal. I don't know. What else are they, what would you like them to do? Just walk away and say, well, okay, never mind? If you don't want to do it, then okay, bye.
I understand exactly what you're saying, Dr.
They have
Phil,
a job to do, and they did it in the most minimal, safe way they could possibly do it. I've told you what my opinion of this situation is. You've provided us full transparency. Is there anything you would like to add?
You know, the injuries in the photographs are very misleading. So her main injury was to her forehead, and because of, obviously she has a 0.35 blood alcohol content right now, but because of her blood and her health issues, a lot of that blood went and coagulated under her eyes, in the bags underneath her eyes. And so those injuries are not to her eyes or to her nose. It's from the top of her head where she banged her head. And it's very misleading, and our local media used that photo because it does look very horrible, but the injuries are actually not to her eyes or to her face, but to the top of her head.
Right. And I was very impressed that you had a nurse there as quickly and as responsive as you did. Again, efforts to provide care and take care of JoLynn. So I don't know what else y'all could have done. So that's just my opinion. So I just wanted to weigh in on that, and we really want to help her, not condemn her here. And you've been very gracious in giving us your time, because I know you have a lot to do, particularly in the middle of this pandemic. So
thank you.
Hopefully we can help to set the record straight. So Sergeant, thank you so much for being here, and again, thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Dr. Phil, and good luck, JoLynn. We're rooting for you.
We'll hear from JoLynn's daughter, who says her mother and Keith are codependent, and that's why they're both spiraling downward next. We want to turn this around. We'll be right back.
We're here to...
At this point, I do feel like JoLynn might be chasing death. JoLynn has been to the hospital too many times to count.
I had a 0.47 blood alcohol level, and yeah, it scared the out of me.
That's almost 50% alcohol in your bloodstream. Technically, she should have been dead. Even the doctors were blown away that she survived it.
I'm just so depressed that it doesn't, I don't care if I'm alive or dead. I mean, it doesn't matter.
JoLynn, who is here with her husband of 28 years, Keith, says being a severe alcoholic has gotten her arrested and suffered numerous injuries as a result of this disease. Now, right now, I want to know if they really want to turn this around and are ready for a fresh start. You know, you talked about what you've lost, your daughters. You do have your dog back, right?
I have lost my daughter. I lost my dog.
And when you say you lost your dog has just been quarantined. Your dog hasn't been put down. Your
Correct.
dog's still, you get the dog back, right?
Well, I hope so.
Now, we have a statement from JoLynn's daughter. She says, and this is a quote, "My mom's drinking is completely out of control, and I don't think anything can help her at this point. She's already escaped death many times. My mom and my stepdad, Keith, have a very volatile relationship. My mom is verbally and physically abusive to Keith. She constantly calls the cops on Keith, saying he has abused her. Keith enables my mom's drinking. He makes sure she has food to eat and will give her back her keys if she hasn't drunk for a few days. They are codependent, and it's very unhealthy. Keith drinks at least 2 beers a night and has recently gotten a DUI. I currently don't have much of a relationship with my mom because of her drinking. I wish she was the fun, loving, caring mom and grandmother that she used to be. What do you think about what she says?
It's true.
Do you miss that relationship?
Yes, terribly.
Do you miss being a grandmother actively?
Terribly. Yes, I miss them all.
JoLynn, look, you know, I kind of have, I'm a little bit hamstrung here because talking to you is kind of like talking to a ghost of yourself right now, because you're 0.35 right now, which means your cognitive abilities, your ability to think and reason and hear me and make decisions is not great.
No, and ever since I got thrown into the jail, I have not been the same.
You got thrown into the jail because you're a drunk. And you're going to continue to get in situations you don't want to be in if you continue to be a drunk. You're going to kill yourself or somebody in a car, or you're going to drink until the respiratory part of your brain shuts down and you quit breathing and he doesn't find you in time. Or you're going to have to see through the fog and grab on to a rope and pull yourself out of this.
Look at those beautiful pictures.
How's it feel to look at yourself in your wedding dress?
It hurts. I just lost control.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, accused by her family
of stealing cash from her mother's purse and spending all day in her bedroom.
America's oldest moocher.
She is 68 years old.
That's tomorrow.
Closed captioning provided by...
Is meal-triggered indigestion causing discomfort, early fullness, bloating? Ask your doctor about non-prescription FB-Guard for meal-triggered indigestion. FB-Guard, the pre-meal companion.
Look at that.
You often look at those pictures because it was a much happier time, right? For both of y'all.
Yes.
A much happier time. And I look at the history, and I see you talk about everything that you've lost, but I see how much you have to gain when I look at these pictures. And I wonder why you would give all of that up if you had a choice. And it makes me believe that this has gotten to the point
Look at those.
that you don't have a choice, or you wouldn't make the choice. At this point,
I mean, look at those beautiful pictures.
You're out of control, right? This isn't something you're choosing on a day-to-day basis. It's controlling you.
Yes.
But why would I believe that now is the time you want to make this change? You've been doing this for years. Why now? Why would I believe that now is the time you want to make this change?
Because I've lost control. I've just lost control.
How's it feel to look at yourself in your wedding dress? That's you. That you's still in there. How does it feel to look at that?
It hurts. But that was me 28 years ago. And then there's my daughter's wedding. And then there's us.
You all used to do that kind of thing, right? You used to get out and...
Definitely.
share things and do things together.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was my daughter's wedding.
When you guys were together there, it's a beautiful background. I mean, you're obviously somewhere
We got married in
wonderful.
Jamaica.
What do you remember about those times?
Oh, geez. Nothing but good thoughts, good memories. We got married in Jamaica, just the
And
two
look
of
at
us.
me.
Fell in love with the island. Been back many, many times. Took our daughters to Jamaica. Both of our daughters got married in Jamaica.
My daughter's wedding.
Honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, both of our daughters were married in Jamaica also.
Why haven't you given up on her?
Because I believe in her. I love her. And I believe she can come back.
So the question is JoLynn really, really ready to make a change? Hey everyone, season 19 is underway.
You can be a part of our virtual audience.
Go to drphil.com and click on Be Part of the Audience for more information.
That's right. Hope to see you soon.
Now, I'm willing to offer you some help here, but you need to look at me and you need to hear me. I know you're in there. So I asked a very good friend of mine, a respected colleague of mine, Dr. Dina Mannion, to come here today. She's clinical officer of the West Wind Recovery Centers, and West Wind offers a full array of substance and mental health services right here in the Hollywood Hills in California. And this is a team that works to criteria. They cut to the chase and get down to what you need to do to reassemble your life. Yes. Dina, what do you think?
Hi, JoLynn.
Stay right there.
I'm Dr. Dina.
Don't get up. You okay?
I'm not getting it.
Okay.
This is Dr. Dina Mannion right here. Say hello.
Hi. One of the things that I heard you say on the tape was that you're scared of being in pain. And I want to assure you that when you come to West Wind, we're going to make sure you're not in pain. So we want to monitor you medically to make sure you're safe. We won't hold you against your will. It's a voluntary program. It's not jail. But you've got to show some willingness to get better, because it's going to take you to help us help you to get better. And we need your help too, Keith.
Yes.
This is going to be a family affair.
Now, this is a situation where you've got to really surrender yourself and say, look, I got one chance to do this right. I got one chance to do this right. Everything has come to this point, and this is my time. This is my turn, and I'm not going to blow this.
Stay there.
Do you want that help?
Don't get down.
Do you want that help?
Yes,
Seriously.
I do. Yes, I do.
Because I think you're still in there, and I think you deserve a shot.
I am here. I am in here.
I wrote into the Dr. Phil show.
I know you did.
Praying.
You can stay with her. You can stand with her.
It's okay. Praying that you could help her.
Well, I've told you the truth as I see it, and I really believe that if the two of you lean into this and you own this, we can turn this around. Closed captioning provide updates, live strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today. Well, I've told you the truth as I see it, and I really believe that if the two of you lean into this and you own this, we can turn this around. So fair enough?
With the right help, yes, I believe it too.
All right, then let's leave it at that, and let's do it. You can get with Dr. Mannion backstage.
But what do we do now?
Okay, well, they'll come and get you guys.
Get back in your seat, honey.
And we'll do it.
Honey.
I want to thank my guests today, and thanks to spokesperson Sergeant Ray Kelly from the Alameda Police Department, and to the clinical officer of Westwind Recovery Centers, Dina Mannion. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. Don't forget to check me out on any of my social media outlets, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's all for today. And don't forget to tune in to Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret, with fascinating guests, including Catherine Schwarzenegger Pratt and Deborah and Tara Newell, the real-life mother and daughter inspiration to the Golden Globe winning Dirty John series. We'll see you next time. I'm going to pop back out and talk to the audience for just a second to finish up the show. Hey guys, yeah, we're still in the show right now. I just saved a few minutes because I wanted to come out and talk to you guys a little bit about what just went on, because I get so much mail and questions from y'all about kind of what my thought process is as we go through this. And this is a difficult time for me because I'm trying to work with an individual that is 0.35. So I can't really have a legitimate conversation with somebody, because all of us, have you ever tried to talk to a drunk about their drinking while they're drunk? I mean, there's no point, and how much of it will she remember afterwards? So that's why I did a breathalyzer to start with, because I want to know what level of consciousness, I know it's altered, but what level of consciousness am I dealing with? And let me tell you, when you get this chronic into alcoholism, triggers are nothing more than explanatory myths. It's not about her triggers right now. She drinks because that's what she's about. That's what her life is about. It's not about she's triggered by something that happened. Things often happen for one reason. They start for one reason and then continue for a whole other set of reasons. She drinks now because that's who she is and that's what she does. That's what she's become. She drinks now because of the physiological storm in her body if she doesn't drink. So you've got to deal with this at this level. Then when she gets sobered up, then when she gets her cognitive abilities back, then you can sit down and talk about, wonder why she started that to begin with. Maybe then it makes sense, and you can talk about it so it doesn't kick it off again and cause a relapse later. But right now, there's no point in talking about that. Right now, she drinks because that's what she does. She drinks. And there's a physiological storm if she doesn't. It's all about timing. Don't you think life's about timing? Yes. Everything's about timing. You don't think so? Take a sleeping pill and a laxative at the same time. Life's about timing. There's just certain things you don't do at the same time. That's a bad example, I know. Robin's turning her nose up like, oh my God, why did he say that? It's just you don't do certain things together. You don't talk about all of these childhood triggers with a chronic alcoholic. That's not what you do. Some things don't go together in time. But that's what I'm thinking about while I'm talking with her. And he's got to change his game or she's going to come home to a highly toxic environment and fall right back into the pattern. So we will get him serious help through Dr. Mannion. She'll work with him straight along as it's going. That's just kind of the bubble over my head. Guys, thanks. I'm going to leave for real this time.